Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Are you tired?
No, it's good. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Gauranitai, Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadramai. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Gauranitai, Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadrama. Jaya Radha Gopinatha Gauranitai, Jagannatha Baladeva Subhadramai. Oh, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad, Prabhupad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupad, Prabhupad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupad, Prabhupad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad.
Can you speed up, play like this? Hold the tempo.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupad, Prabhupad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupad, Prabhupad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupad. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. O Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada Disappearance Day Festival ki. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the 48th Disappearance Day Observation Festival of Srila Prabhupada. Today's festival is organized entirely by Gopinath's youth. So let us just give 3 Haribols for all of them so that Srila Prabhupada empowers them to organize such more festivals in future. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So today is a day of mixed emotions, for everyone. While we all feel separation from Srila Prabhupada, especially those who have had the fortune of his physical association. But at the same time, today is the day also we celebrate. We celebrate Srila Prabhupada's life. We celebrate his legacy. Srila Prabhupada left for the West with just 5 boxes of Srimad Bhagavatam. And now, practically, there are millions and millions of his books being read and distributed across the world. Today is the day we celebrate that. Srila Prabhupada left alone on that cargo ship, Jaladuta, to the West. And today, there are millions of his followers and thousands of his disciples who are ready to do anything for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada left practically penniless. He had no resources, no one to help him. But now there are millions and millions of his followers who've left everything and are ready to give up their life. There are so many temples around, so many farm communities around. So that is the magic of our dear Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was in Radha Damodar temple, he would wonder how would the people in the West take up the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in 1972 Kartik, when Srila Prabhupada returned to Vrindavan to organize the first series of lectures on Nectar of Devotion, there were thousands of people who were following the instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Today is the day we celebrate that. When Srila Prabhupada would often bathe in the Mother Yamuna, he would often meditate on how to fulfill the orders of his Guru. And in 1972 in Kartik, when he returned, he joyfully watched hundreds of his disciples and followers bathing in Mother Yamuna and following the instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But most of all, today we celebrate the compassion of Srila Prabhupada. The compassion for the fallen conditioned souls that made him descend to this material world, leaving his eternal home, just to save all of us. Today is the day we celebrate his compassion. Today we do Kirtanam of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes and qualities. We do Shravanam of his pastimes. And we do Smaranam of Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. And that is how we can always keep Srila Prabhupada fresh, and always Srila Prabhupada can keep on guiding us. So without much ado, I would now invite some of Srila Prabhupada's disciples that we have the fortune of association today. We have His Holiness Ramay Swami Maharaj with us. His Holiness Ramay Swami Maharaj ki. We have His Grace Bhavananda Prabhu with us. His Grace Bhavananda Prabhu ki. And we have His Grace Atmaram Prabhu with us. His Grace Atmaram Prabhu ki. And we'll have the fortune of listening from all of them about various memories, pastimes, and instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So first of all, I'll invite His Holiness Ramay Swami Maharaj to please come and grace us with his offering to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So I believe that Ganesham was telling me that there's some devotees also want to offer the homage and speak in glorification of Srila Prabhupada. So, and Dev Rinamaj was here this morning. Those of you who were here, he gave a very wonderful class about Srila Prabhupada, and explaining the position of the Guru and the legacy of Prabhupada, so on and so forth. Actually, I thought that Bhavananda Prabhu should go first because he's the senior Prabhupada disciple here. And also, he was there at the time of Srila Prabhupada's departure in Vrindavan. So, but I asked him, but he's very humble. And he doesn't want to go first. But normally he would go first. So I'd just like to say, I was just, interestingly, I was, this morning I was looking at, someone had posted a few years ago a video on YouTube when Prabhupada first arrived in Australia to Sydney, and we had our the temple in Paddington, and it's available. A news TV news crew came and filmed it, so I was watching it. It's very short, but it was so wonderful to see so many of the old devotees who were looking very young at that time, and it was so wonderful to see Srila Prabhupada. But I was, thinking about that, how fortunate we are here in Sydney, because this was the first city in Australia that Srila Prabhupada came to visit. And that was in May. He arrived May 9th, 1971, and first to Sydney, Australia. Jai Sydney Yatra Ki Jai. So, and he brought at that time Radha Gopinath. Radha Gopinath accompanied Srila Prabhupada, and there's a nice story how Radha Gopinath was actually sent. An Indian gentleman had visited our place in Bondi and had said that he's from India, he's going back to India and he would like to donate some Radha Krishna deities. And then the devotees didn't think that much of it. They thought, well, whether he does or whether he doesn't, they didn't know. But after that, after some time, he had gone back to India and he went back to Bombay, and the devotees had moved from Bondi to Paddington. So a little while later, the deities arrived and were delivered to Bondi because that's the address he had. But because no one was there to claim them, they sat in storage and were shipped back to the person who sent them. And so that was that gentleman there. It just so happened at that time when he received the deities, Srila Prabhupada was giving a series of lectures in Bombay, and he took the opportunity to come to see Prabhupada, and he presented that, he told the story, how he sent the Radha Krishna deities, and then Prabhupada said, "Oh, you can just give them to me. I'm going there very soon, and I will personally take them." So it's a very wonderful story of how Radha Gopinath came with Srila Prabhupada. He came with the deities and installed the deity. Actually, this video I was watching, you can see him. All the old devotees, Bali Madan was there, Upendra was there. Bali Madan was the first devotee to come to Australia. He first came to Sydney, and he was living up around Darlinghurst area, down the Woolloomooloo area and the Squat area. And then he wrote to Prabhupada, then Upendra came just a couple of months later. And that's how the whole thing started. So he came back with Prabhupada, Bali Madan, as I said, Upendra was there, I saw Churu there, Deepak was there, all my old god brothers, god sisters, Vaibhavi was there. There was an interview with, what's the name? Russell. No, not Russell Mandal. Rasarani Devi Dasi. Rasarani Devi Dasi. She's now living in the north and quite often visits our new Govardhan farm. And she was just a young girl of 18, and so her mother was there with her, and her auntie was there. So there's a little bit of an interview with her and her mother and auntie. But also, it was televised, Prabhupada sitting in the small little temple room, and there was Radha Gopinath, and he was bathing the deity. So it was very wonderful to see. So we're very fortunate here in Australia that Prabhupada came 6 times to here. Of course, other places he also came many times, and in India, not so much of this. I mean, just whatever you have to do, go do it down there. Don't do it here. So we were very fortunate in India. Of course, he spent a lot of time in America, UK. But other than that, he wouldn't travel so many times to other places, but we're very fortunate here. In Australia, he came 6 times. He went to New Zealand, I think it was 3 times, but Australia he came 6 times, and the first of those times was Sydney. And so Prabhupada arrived in a very humble way, picked up, and he just arrived in an old Volkswagen Kombi van that they picked him up. And so they probably thought at the time it was very luxurious to pick him up in an old Volkswagen Kombi van. But anyway, Prabhupada accepted it. And I wasn't a devotee then, I came the next year. But it was wonderful to see all the old faces and see Prabhupada. So today we're all assembled, as already stated, to offer our respect and our worship to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And of course he has a special position in our society, being the founder Acharya. The founder Acharya, there may be many gurus now in ISKCON, but Prabhupada will always hold a special position going right through into the future. He is always our founder and the founder Acharya. So in all the temples of the world, we have the Srila Prabhupada Murti, and we offer Guru Puja, and we recite prayers, bow down before Srila Prabhupada. So he's very special to our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and today we're gathered to honor him and worship him on the occasion of his disappearance. And I think that's 48 years now, 1977, so that makes it 48 years that he's no longer present with us. But actually, as Dev Miramaj was saying this morning, at that time, all of us remember, and Prabhupada had been ill before, and we were all praying before that time, and somehow or other Prabhupada had overcome his illness and stayed with us. And at this particular point in time in 1977, it was most of the disciples thought the same thing, that we were all praying. Prabhupada had given us a prayer that we could recite, if Krishna, if you so desire, please allow our spiritual master to remain here and finish his mission. Words to that effect. But so the disciples were praying like that, whatever service they were doing, but they were hoping that another miracle would happen and Prabhupada would remain. And so it came as a real shock when it was finally announced. And Maharaj was saying this morning, every disciple, every Srila Prabhupada disciple can remember exactly where they were and remember getting the news. For me, I was in London just before, and I figured, and I arrived back here to Sydney, and I got the news when I arrived back. So unfortunate. And I'd been planning to, just because Prabhupada had sent out a message that any disciples who wanted to come and be with him in Vrindavan could come. So I was planning to come back to Australia and then again after a month or so go and be with Prabhupada. But when I arrived, I was picked up and then I was given the information. And so unfortunately for me, I was on a plane. Actually, I worked out when Prabhupada actually left the world, I was still in mid-air on the plane. So when I arrived, that was very devastating news. But at the same time, the Prabhupada himself describes that actually the appearance day of the spiritual master and the disappearance day are both auspicious. And just like when Krishna appears and when Krishna disappears, they are considered equally auspicious, just that the mood may be a little bit different. Now we're in separation from Srila Prabhupada. But interestingly, there's a nice a quote from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that is of relevance today, because this is he said this on the occasion of the disappearance day of his father and his guru, Shiksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and this is what he said. Today is a day of great happiness and not the slightest grief. Today our Master has re-entered the eternal pastimes of the Lord. Now it is our duty to remember his eternal position, name, qualities, form and pastimes. Henceforth we will follow in his footsteps with even greater concentration. So this is the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur on the occasion of the anniversary of the passing of his father. So while there may be a different mood, we're lamenting a little bit, but overall the general mood is one of great auspiciousness, as the appearance and the disappearance. And actually I was just reading and I put down that on the 50th anniversary of the anniversary of ISKCON, when Prabhupada first formed ISKCON, there was a function at Harvard University organised by the devotees and under the auspices of one of the professors there, who was a little bit of a follower of the devotees. And Professor John Hopkins came there and he gave a keynote speech. And one part of it was that he said that, I found this so interesting. Anutama told me this because he was there, I wasn't there, but he was telling me that he said a very remarkable thing. He said that as an academic, he always looked at comparisons when understanding new religious movements and new religious leaders. And when it came to Srila Prabhupada, he could see only two persons in history who were comparable. One was Jesus and the other was Muhammad. But then he said, but the difference with them and Prabhupada was that they spread their teachings to people in their own countries and culture, whereas Prabhupada went to different countries and different cultures around the world and effectively spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So very profound words by Professor Hopkins, and there was another, where was that? Oh yeah, I wanted to read something else also. That was made by, in Prabhupada's time even, by one of the acharyas of the Sri Sampradaya. This was back in 1976. Oh, I can't find it in the moment, but the words were more or less, he said when he read the translation and commentaries of Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and when he saw Prabhupada, when he saw the disciples of Prabhupada, how they were so enthusiastic and spreading Krishna consciousness so vigorously, not only in India when they came to see him, but all over the world, he made the comment that I regard your Srila Prabhupada as the summum bonum of all the acharyas of the past and all the acharyas presently existing today. So this was his comment about Srila Prabhupada. And there was another professor also from India who said that when I read Srila Prabhupada's books, I think that Krishna must have been standing behind him and saying, you write like this, and you write like that, and you say like this, and you say like that. So Srila Prabhupada is such a wonderful personality. Thank you, Hare Krishna. And we cannot say enough in glorification of him, but we know there's many other speakers who want to say something and offer their homage to him. So I won't go any longer, and I'll hand it over to Bhavananda Prabhu. He can give us more information on Srila Prabhupada's actual departure, because he was there at the time in Vrindavan, in the Krishna Balaram temple.
Actually, Om Gana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksuram Militam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. I wasn't going to speak about that, but now I've been ordered to, so. But
I can't order you.
But before I get to that,
Okay.
I wanted to comment on, what do you call these? The bollards. Because there's been some issue in this temple with the bollards. So I'd like to tell you a story, how they came to be. In 1970, Prabhupada called me from New York, 61 2nd Avenue, to Los Angeles, because he said Gargamuni has purchased a temple building, the current building at Wasika Avenue. And I want you to come and work with me for designing the interiors. So of course, I immediately went. I think I went by Greyhound bus, but anyway. So Prabhupada would come down to this room which he chose, which would be the temple room. Not the current temple room at Wasika Avenue, but another room. And he personally designed the whole temple room. And the altars, the 3 altars, the size, the height of the steps, 3 steps going up to the base, which was 4 foot by 4 foot. I mean, down to detail. And every morning he'd come down and go over the room. He told me that temples should be white or yellow. He said those are colors in the mode of goodness. So I went out and got these, little paint samples, the cardboard paint. I brought all these colors, yellow, pale yellow, medium yellow. And among all the yellow tabs, there was I could only call it like a chrome yellow, almost an neon. What do they call those jackets? Neon. High vis. It was practically high vis, yellow. And Prabhupada picked that one. So bright. But anyway, Prabhupada picked it. My opinion meant nothing, right? That's what we were like. I may have an opinion, you may have an opinion, but Prabhupada's opinion prevails, right? No matter what I think or no matter how I argue, Prabhupada's opinion took the precedent, yes. And that's been throughout ISKCON and should be even today. So anyway, the altars were down there, and we only had little deities, Radha Krishna deities that were about 6 inches, 8 inches, tiny. And Prabhupada had drawn an altar. There's a design somewhere, I guess in LA. He drew it himself, what it should look like, 4 columns. And he said, my Vyasa-san should be there, which was on the other side of the room. I saw in your Vyasa Puja offering. I wrote that. I'm giving more detail. Okay. And I said, Prabhupada, I said, that's very far away. I said, how will you see the deities? Prabhupada, his eyes, looked at me. He said, there is no question of distance. Right? So he wanted this aisle from his Vyasa-san to the center altar. And I said, well, how will that work, Prabhupada, during, kirtans and artiks? And he said, the men, the brahmacharis and the grihastha men, they face this way. And the women, they're on the other side of the aisle, facing the men. These days, I can't look, I can't. The brahmacharis are facing the women, right? And Prabhupada said, and you dance this way and that way. He said, that way, when you go on this side, you're at looking at God, and then you look this way, you're looking at Guru. He said back and forth, side by side. And he didn't like anyone standing in that aisle. So then at Mayapur, a few years later, we had bollards, and it was a long, from Prabhupada's Vyasa-san down to Radha Madhava, small Radha Madhava, but we had with the chains and, the chain going. and he didn't like anyone. At one point during a Guru Puja, we were all dancing back and forth like this. That way, you know how you do that? You go forward, then you go back. I remember Brahmananda, Achyutananda was leading, and he was singing, and he was also leading the dancing, and we're going back and forth like that in front of Prabhupada. He stopped us. He said, "Do not block," he said. Because every time we went that way or came back, we were cutting off his sight line of the deity. He said, if you want, he said, go back and forth like this, not that way, right? So that, having that aisle from Prabhupada to the deity, over the years it's become non-existent. So I was very happy to see these bollards. They're not particularly attractive. It's like a construction site, or someone's under the street, right? Those guys, but it's there. As Prabhupada would say, a blind uncle is better than no uncle. Right? That's a perfect example. So thank you very much. And thank you very much for the nice floral decorations on Prabhupada. Though, as I recall, in China, all white is it's for mourning. M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. Huh? I'm just making... And chrysanthemums, especially. But anyways, it's quite lovely. In watching a video on Prabhupada's departure, the other night I was watching a video. It's a 15-minute video. And Prabhupada lying on his bed and speaking into the purport of the Bhagavatam, so thin. And Pradyumna was there holding the microphone. Jayadvaita was there. I don't know where I was. I would have been around somewhere, but those things, like Prabhupada's writing and everything, that was not my service, so I had no particular interest in that, right? Mine was making everything nice and clean and seeing to Prabhupada's physical, bodily needs, massaging or scratching. I remember he liked me to scratch his back better than anyone.
You had long nails.
Huh?
You had long nails.
I let my nails grow out a little bit because he had this situation to please him. Of course, he had told us one year in Mayapur that Brahmin means no nails, right, ladies? So you know, Brahmin means no nails because dirt gets under there. But Prabhupada was having us scratch his back. He would sit there on his bed and scratch his back. And he liked mine because my nails had grown out a little bit, right? And I would scratch his back for hours, literally hours, and he would just sit there. Different devotees would come in, he'd be going, discussing with them, and I'm scratching. I was happy. I was so happy, right? This, for me, was perfection. I didn't have to do anything else. I didn't have to think about anything else. I was just serving Guru, serving Prabhupada. Not Guru, Prabhupada. I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit of difference. Anyway, in this, I was struck by his statement in that purport that we should keep ourselves in Sattvagun. He said, Varnashram is so important. And we should keep ourselves in Sattvagun, in goodness. He said, because to be associating with Tamagun and Rajagun is very dangerous. We actually don't realize how dangerous it is. We can be born in the lowest species of life. So one of the purposes of a temple is to have a place where people can associate with Sattvagun, with goodness, and that affects all of our hearts. And his final words were, Varnashram and associating with the mode of goodness. Those are his final words to everyone. It's there in that purport in the 10th canto. And actually, of course, this is a little fanatic. When I read the Bhagavatam, when I get to that purport, I stop. That's as far as I go, right? And if I want more, I read one of Prabhupada's favored books. Do you know which book that is? The Krishna book. Oh, I'm reading it now. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I remember in San Francisco, Frederick Street, Prabhupada came for the Rath Yatra, and he had the Krishna book. It had just been published, and he showed it to all of us. And well, wow. And this picture of Radha Krishna, and do you know what Prabhupada did with it? He sold it. Book distributor, right? The chief book distributor. His first copy of the Krishna book, and he sold it to the highest bidder. I think it was Brahmananda, right? Everyone we were all cheering, right? One of the qualities of Prabhupada, I guess most important, was, I had said to him in Calcutta, Prabhupada, he said, so Bhavanand, how you like India? I said, Prabhupada, it's wonderful, but, I said, you can't get any privacy. I said, everywhere we go, there's always like 1,000 people looking in the window, right? Looking in the window, looking through the doors to look at the Shaib devotees. Well, I was complaining. And do you know what Prabhupada said to me? Put me right in my place. He said, they do not need privacy because they are not doing anything sinful. And Prabhupada was like that. He was, there's much talk in American politics about transparency, and Prabhupada was transparent. At any time of the day or night, his door was open. Of course, you wouldn't go in there during his nighttime translating, but if there was some problem or emergency, you could go in. Prabhupada was always, always, always engaged in Krishna conscious activity. He was transparent and he was available. And he was not doing anything sinful. There was no need for privacy. Amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. And he always put you in your place, right? I think I've told you this story. At one point in Mayapur, we built the long building, and I had the brahmacharis living on the second floor, and it used to really aggravate me because they'd wash their dhotis and hang it over the railing, and it would go down, the dhotis would go down, 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 past the first floor and onto the... And it looked very, it was everywhere, and gumchas and copins, everything hanging to dry.
Just like up there.
Huh?
Just like here.
Oh, is it?
You have to fight your way through.
So we're walking down, upstairs? Yeah. We're walking down the road from the front to the Lotus building, and I said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, the brahmacharis, they put their laundry out there, and it looks so unsightly. And Prabhupada stopped and he looked at it, and then he looked at me and he said, "What is the problem?" He said, let them know we wash.
I'm trying to get him to clean it up, and you say that.
This is Prabhupada.
Thanks a lot.
This is Prabhupada.
I was there.
Let them know we wash. Okay? So, I'll tell you another story. He called me from he had sent me back to Mayapur from Bombay. And then he ended up in Vrindavan, and he called for me to come and take care of him. And I got there, and Prabhupada was taking his lunch. But Tamas said, go in and pay your... So I went in to his prasad room, and I paid my obeisances, and Prabhupada said to me, you'll like this. This is 1977, I guess, April. Prabhupada looked at me and he said, I am going to name 3 acharyas to carry... I knew you'd like this. 3 acharyas to carry on the spiritual practices after I am gone. He said, speak to Tamal about this. Yeah, it was way over my head. I had no idea. But I did speak to Tamal, and he said, yeah, Prabhupada is saying that he's going to name 3. And, all right. That was the end of it for me because I had things to do. I had to make Prabhupada's main darshan room nice. It was so hot. I got big clay pots filled with Jamuna water to get some placed around the room so that in the heat there'd be some moisture in the air because it was so dry. It was desert. And hanging jasmine garlands on the different pictures that he had. So that was my service. So I was not concerned with acharyas or gurus or anything like that. It meant nothing to me because for me, there was Prabhupada, and I couldn't imagine there not being Prabhupada. Not having Prabhupada. That was I'm sure I wasn't alone in that. You were. I'm sure you were. It was unimaginable. You would never even think that Prabhupada not be here. Because that was it. You were with Prabhupada. You were performing service for Prabhupada wherever you were in the world. And you knew Prabhupada was always there. It was like the base, the solid foundation of everything you do is always on Prabhupada is here. And we're doing this to please him. But unfortunately for us, no one can stay here forever. And Prabhupada made the decision. He made the decision. He went out from Vrindavan to preach, went to London, but it was too difficult. He told Tamal, take me back to Vrindavan, brought him back to Vrindavan, called me again to come and be his body servant. And at that time, really, it was something which was not spoken, but Prabhupada he just prepared to leave his body. A few months later, he left. He stopped eating. He only drank pomegranate juice, and even that, he'd go like this. No taste, no taste. He didn't like that. I saw the other night, someone sent me a little clip of Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Manor just taking prasad. Have you seen that? Oh, I'll send it to you. I have it on my phone. Prabhupada all alone in front of a bay window taking prasad. Prabhupada he liked to take prasad by himself. Right? You come in, give him different things, but no talking. He poked the rice, poke the sabji in the rice, boom, boom, boom. Full concentration on prasad. But suddenly he had stopped even eating. And he just prepared himself to leave his body. It was between Prabhupada and Krishna. At one point he did say to me, I am bewildered. He said, I do not know what Krishna wants. Does he want me to stay or does he want me to go? He said, either way, I will do it. He said, if he wants me to stay, I will stay and serve him. If he wants me to return to him, I will go to him and I will serve him. He said, no difference. Then he became quiet. And he'd make these noises. I can't make. Like little noises, and it's just. So it was a very bewildering time for all of us. But up until the moment he left his body, I did not believe that it would happen. I did not believe it until it did happen. But he's flourishing now. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of devotees, if not millions. Do you have any estimate of how many approximate devotees in the world?
Today?
Millions. And temples, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of temples, and in every temple, Prabhupada is there. Founder Acharya, with a capital A, right? Don't you dare think that you can become the Acharya, right? He put his stamp on it, and every day he is worshipped by millions of devotees. So it's flourishing, all of it by his mercy. All of it by his mercy. And I will conclude with my favorite story, which many of you have heard before. So someone was always in Prabhupada's room. So I was on the, let's say, 11 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning. I would sit in Prabhupada's room. So all night. And I was complaining to him. I said, why do I have to stay up all night, every night, and you sleep like a normal person, and you're on from 6 a.m. till, 5 in the afternoon. I said, why do I always have... He said, no, Tamal. No, I'm the secretary, you're the body servant, so... All right. So I was a little miffed with Tamal. So that night, because that night, this is in November, Prabhupada was, the light hurt his eyes, so in the evening, it was very dim. There was a light over by his desk that we would put a red cloth over it, so it was all very dim. And I had a chair. I sat at the foot of Prabhupada's bed, facing him. And but it was dark. And Prabhupada's eyesight was not good. In the middle of the night, maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, I hear this voice, who is that? It was Prabhupada speaking. I said, it's Bhavananda, Prabhupada. He said, oh, Bhavananda, don't ever leave me. Stay with me forever. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for those enchanting pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. I'll now request His Grace Atmarama Prabhu to share his offering, followed by the offerings from the youth.
Well, they keep arguing who should go first, who should go second, who should go third. But I think it's obvious actually Bhavananda should go last, because after he's spoken there's no point saying anything else, and because that's obviously a hard act to follow. But anyway, seeing as we're obligated on a day like this to say something, it's always very depressing to hear Bhavananda's anecdotes, because it makes you realise a lot of things. One is just how special, of course, his association with Prabhupada was over so many, many years, but how telling all these little snippets of information really, really are, and how they were for the devotees even at that time, like Bhavananda was saying about the yellow colour. Well, one of the things I find depressing is that I've heard these things many times and I can never remember them, because every time he says them again, it's like, that's right, I remember that anecdote. But it's unfortunate how forgetful we are. We just forget everything, pretty much. if only we could remember everything. There's so much information and so much to keep in the foremost of our mind in order to actually guide and direct our activities in the present time. But we see how pervasive Prabhupada's influence was for everybody in those years. There was actually, it was not so much the Hare Krishna movement, it was the Prabhupada movement. Prabhupada was everything, and as has been mentioned a number of times, there was no sense that Prabhupada would ever leave. That was just a given, he was there. I was recently met up with Jayadharma, an old Prabhupada disciple up north, and I was asking him about his early experiences in coming to the movement. And he explained that very, very early in Melbourne, he's one of the first ever Melbourne devotees. Ramai Maharaj was talking about Sydney, but in Melbourne, the devotees there, who first of all went to Melbourne to open up a centre, were Upananda and Upendra. The two of them went there, and they were distributing magazines on the street. And anyway, Jayadharma ran into them, and they invited him to the Sunday program. They were sharing a house, an apartment, with some other people, just completely ordinary, materialistic people, not devotees, because they couldn't afford anything. So the Sunday feast was them cooking up a lot of different preps on an old combustion stove, and their flatmate, who was just a really gross Australian work, I don't know how to say it without being offensive, but anyway, he was standing there literally cooking his meals on the other side of the oven, standing there in his underpants. And Upendra and yeah, typical Aussie. So Upendra and Upananda, they were cooking up a nice feast with puris and halva and all the sort of traditional preps. And but the thing that struck Jayadharma was they just talked about Prabhupada constantly. Prabhupada this and Prabhupada that and Prabhupada this and Prabhupada that. It was all about Prabhupada. And many people, even scholars, have remarked, I think Waldi Shin, remarked that he'd met the devotees and, for a while, and he was very kind of sceptical meeting the devotees because they seemed to know almost nothing. And they were very unregulated and not very well developed. But when he met Prabhupada for the first time, then he could understand. He said, "Oh, now I understand." Prabhupada was our total credibility. He was our total world. He was what Krishna consciousness represented for the devotees as a movement. There was no such thing as anything apart from Prabhupada. Everything was just, that was the whole existence of our movement. And the movement was actually just Prabhupada. It was synonymous with him. So the idea of him actually ever leaving was unthinkable. It was just unimaginable. I remember that in my personal experience, the last ever jagya that was done in the time of Prabhupada here was done up in New Govardhan towards the end of 77, obviously. And we had a wonderful festival up at New Govardhan. And I remember it might have even been, I'm not sure if it was the first ever big festival we had there. It might have been the second one, I can't remember. But there was a big fire jagya and about 16 different devotees got initiated, both first and second. And we were all taking part in that. At that time I was travelling, doing book distribution around Australia, and my partner was Gopinath Acharya. And we left after the festival concluded, and we took a long trip through Australia from up north right through the inland, finally ending up in Melbourne. Our plan was to take about a week, something like that, travel all the way down. And as it turned out, Prabhupada passed away just after that weekend. I don't know what day of the week actually it was, in the 14th of that year. But I remember we travelled all through Australia and we were happily distributing books and we were not thinking anything. One thing that's very different, and we might even be able to relate to it now with modern technology, there's no way you wouldn't know what was happening with Prabhupada if it was happening today. You'd have video wall to wall, you'd have photos being sent across a whole network of contacts. Oftentimes nowadays when I see pictures of Prabhupada towards the end of his presence here, it's really shocking to see how he looked. It was very obvious when you see those pictures that he was seriously ill. But we had no idea of that because you wouldn't get a photo on your phone, or here's Prabhupada today. You wouldn't see those pictures maybe even months afterwards. It was only with hindsight you came to understand and appreciate what was actually happening during those months. We just had pictures of Prabhupada on the altar or the Vyasasan, and that was Prabhupada for us. We had no idea the situation. As Ramai Maharaj said, he had no idea. He was thinking, after a month or so I'll go to Vrindavan, we'll catch up and maybe I'll stop in. And many people were thinking that. Hari Sori, who was the GBC, who was Prabhupada's servant for many, 16 months or something, he'd recently appointed the GBC, but he'd been there, but then he decided to go back to his zone because he was thinking, well, I can't stay away too long. We have to... the whole world of devotees, but for the few who providentially were there, had no idea what was happening. And we just assumed that it was just another one of those, difficult periods, but Prabhupada would get over it and things would go on. So I think that Gopinath and I were the last people, certainly in Australia, maybe in the world, to know that Prabhupada had left, because we were incommunicado. We had no mobile phones. If you want to make a phone call, you have to go to a phone box with some coins, ring up the temple president and say, well, as we had to do one time, Atmarama's been picked up by the police and he's now in Maitland jail. It would take a while for the news to come through. So by the time we got to Melbourne, there was some sort of weird frisson in the air. We got to Melbourne Temple, and I remember Balaram, he called us aside, took us into his office, and very gravely he said to both of us, at the time we were just in front of his desk, that, and I don't think you're aware, but Prabhupada passed away. And I was very young and I didn't really know exactly how to respond. But Gopinath he went into shock. And it's really from the responses of your godbrothers you can get some idea of what actually should be the realization, should be the response and the mood. So that's how we came to find out. But it was very difficult to adjust to this new world of Prabhupada not being here, no doubt, and there's a whole history there, of course. So this whole movement is actually synonymous with Srila Prabhupada. There's the movement and Prabhupada is somehow, even as the founder, doesn't really do justice to the extent that Prabhupada permeates absolutely everything. And we have to therefore constantly remember and reflect back on Prabhupada, all the things he said, all the things he did, all the things he wrote. And that's why these anecdotes of Bhavananda, for example, are so critical and so important. We keep harassing them all the time to record all this, because once he's also gone, as you've been happy to remind us, none of us are here forever, and then that will also be lost. We're actually all a part of history. It's just a passing parade. And we had one role to play in that history, and this next generation will have the next role to play. Things will go on like that. But the one constant throughout the whole thing will always be Prabhupada. And as long as that's always in the forefront, then the spirit and the integrity of this movement will continue on. Bhavananda was saying to me, I think a couple of days ago, we were talking, and he was how inspired he was and also reassured that many of the young people in the movement these days, they are so intense about Srila Prabhupada. And you can even pick it up in the things that have been said here today. That the sense of Prabhupada, his legacy, and the need to stick very, very rigidly to Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada's advice, Prabhupada's example, is still very prominent, in the mentality of the people who've never had anything to do with Prabhupada. I'm often very struck by how people who have never had any contact, in fact there's 50 years difference practically between the current people coming to the movement and Prabhupada's disappearance, but for some reason it's not difficult for them to connect with Prabhupada directly. They're reading his books, they see his murti on the asana, they take part in Guru Puja, they take part in events like this, they're constantly hearing anecdotes, we have the Prabhupada Lilamrita, which we tend to read every evening. They become very, very quickly Prabhupada conscious. And they see Srila Prabhupada actually as their spiritual acharya, their mentor, their grandfather, their well-wisher. And that actually still, to this day, is the thing that convinces everybody. It's what really convinces them that this movement has a validity and reality, that sense of connection with Srila Prabhupada. So even though many, many years have passed by, in some respects nothing has ever changed. From the very, very beginning and the inception of the movement, even to the present day, and it will continue like that. The same consistency of experience. And it all still due to the one single cause, which is Srila Prabhupada. So I can't hope to top the eulogy of our elderly godbrother here, but actually wants to say something more. Is it? I thought so.
Now I wanted to address Prabhupada being so thin in his last months. He told me once that in his culture, which means Vedic culture, when a gentleman is an old man, he knows he's going to die. So first he stops eating. And after some long time of not eating, then he stops taking water. And he said, when you stop taking water, after 3 days, he said, you die, and there is no pain. So, of course, this is just my, now I won't even say what I'm going to say. No, because the activities of the pure devotee are beyond our understanding. We can't check it off to being ill, to being sick. It's not like that. What appears to us is totally different when it involves a pure devotee of the Lord. There was no sickness. There was just his desire to join again with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai. So that's it for me. So who's going next?
Thank you, Prabhu, for that wonderful offering. Can I please request Prabhuji's this side if they can move forward so that devotees at the back get some space to sit down. Now I request His Grace Toshan Krishna Prabhu to come forward and share his offering for Srila Prabhupada, followed by Mrigang Prabhu.
नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्यदेशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So today we are celebrating the Tirobhav festival of our dear founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, and I'd first like to beg forgiveness from all of the senior Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here for having the, for speaking whatever I can. It's a bit inappropriate of me to do so. Tirobhav, as a word, can refer to covering. It can refer to something being hidden. This is one of the meanings we have of the term. And one of the ways we can understand the tirobhav of an acharya is that they have hidden and concealed their pastimes from our vision. So there is a certain dimension of hiddenness, of distance in tirobhav. There is a certain dimension of something not being able to be seen anymore. And yet we also hear Srila Prabhupada so strongly asserts this idea that the pure devotees' appearance and disappearance are in a sense non-different. These activities are all equal manifestations of the great personality. And this might seem at times to be counterintuitive. It might seem to be incorrect to our material and mundane logic. And yet, unfortunately, it can also at times seem counterintuitive to our spiritual logic as well, if by tirobhav we do not mean the concealment and hiding of the acharya's pastimes, but instead we mean the concealment and hiding of the acharya's teachings. We should not take the tirobhav of the acharya to be an opportunity to neglect what the acharya wanted, which is so often what we sometimes have the capacity to do. I know I most certainly have that capacity. When we see Srila Prabhupada's vision for ISKCON, for our community, I think Tirobhav festivals can also play a very substantial role to think, while Srila Prabhupada's Vapu has been disappeared from our vision, has his Vani disappeared? We should make sure that the Tirobhav of the form is an opportunity for us to remember to keep the vitality always of the Vani. Srila Prabhupada once was speaking in a conversation with his disciples, and they were planning the establishment of a temple, of a preaching program. And in this, there was a local member of the Indian community who was very supportive of this temple being built. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, it is good that we should take this support. But he said, I do not wish for this to become a Hindu mission. And then he smiled and he looked at all of his disciples and he said, I am the only Hindu here. And then he laughed with happiness. And we have to wonder if Prabhupada would still laugh with happiness today, with the direction that we are sometimes forgetting, and I'm saying that about myself. So I guess what I have to say is that Srila Prabhupada has had such an amazing vision. When we read the letters of Srila Prabhupada, when we hear the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, when we engage with Srila Prabhupada as he presented himself, not as we want him to present himself, but when we engage with Prabhupada as he presented himself, he was radical and groundbreaking and boundary crossing in ways that we cannot estimate. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, this is the nature of our Guru Parampara. It is the dhara, the river of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It is pushing against all boundaries and all barriers. And when we see this Srila Prabhupada, this is the Vani that Prabhupada has come to give. And this is what, at least in my estimation, which could very well be wrong, a Tirobhav festival is. It is for us to make sure that the disappearance pastimes are non-different to the appearance pastimes, that the manifestation of the desires and instructions of the founder Acharya are maintained in our hearts, that they are maintained in our mood and in our mission. What Srila Prabhupada came to give is so radical, so unique. We cannot run the risk of losing it. And so I'd very much like to pray to all of the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis that I do not forget those instructions, that I do not err from them, and that as a community we can always have this to be such an opportunity. Anyways, I don't want to speak longer than I should, but Vanchakalpatrupyascha Kripasindubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Toshan Prabhu, for explaining the spirit of Tirobhav. I now request Mrigang Prabhu to come forward and share his offering, followed by Alisha Mataji. May I request everyone to keep their offering between 2 to 3 minutes, so that all of the devotees who have prepared their offering, they can, share.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Nama Shreshtam Manumapi Shachiputram Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Urupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Hyasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I want to seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas gathered here, especially the senior Prabhupada disciples here, that I may speak something in line with what our acharyas have taught and glorify Srila Prabhupada properly. My name is Mrigank, and I've grown up in this movement in Sydney. My family first came in touch with this movement when I was 13 years old. And I can safely say that I don't know where I would be if it were not for Srila Prabhupada's sacrifices, his books, and everything that he has given to us. Even though I've grown up in the movement, as many kids do who have grown up, we have our doubts about whether all of this is for real or not. And what I can confirm has kept me here. I mean, there's many factors, there's devotees and all that. But one thing that really inspired me was reading Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, particularly the first volume, in the part where just around the time he took sannyas, the amount of hardship and struggles that he went through, you really get to see Srila Prabhupada's compassion, his tolerance. He really wanted to give something for no gain to himself. In his poem that he writes on the Jaladuta, after he has 2 heart attacks, he says that Tahale ananda hoy, tabe hoy digvijay, chaitanyara kripa atishay, maya dushta jata dukhi, jagate sabai sukhi, vaishnavera ichha purna hoy. These are Srila Prabhupada's motivations for spreading Krishna consciousness. It's compassion, it's the pleasure of the Vaishnavas, it is to make sure that the living entities who are suffering finally feel happiness. And Srila Prabhupada is such a fantastic example. We talk about the person Bhagavata, yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati yakinchana, sarvair gunais tatra samasate sura. For one who has nothing other than Krishna, that person demonstrates all of the great qualities of the gods, the demigods, right? And Srila Prabhupada, the philosophy is brought to life by a Mahabhagavata, and only a Mahabhagavata can bring out the depths of the jewels of Shastra. So, again, we can continue glorifying how Srila Prabhupada is different. He's not just given a philosophy and plunked it in our faces, right? Mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam. Unless one bathes oneself in the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava who's realized Krishna, there cannot be a transformation within our hearts. We will continue to go towards material life. So, the very fact that we have experienced something amazing, beautiful, transformational, is a testament to Srila Prabhupada's purity. being a Mahabhagavata. So I have been inspired to serve in this movement. I've been reading the Krishna Maharaj's diary when I was 20 years old, and just very inspired to serve in outreach. And after 9 years of doing so, unfortunately, and it really pains me to say this, I feel like we are, at least in Sydney, if not in the Western world, just structurally not really well placed to perform outreach in an effective way. And I thought about why this is the case. We would like to think about what kinds of people are we attracting to the movement, and why are we attracting those kinds of people. And it essentially boils down to, we are looking for people who are looking for Krishna. And what kinds of people are looking for Krishna in the Western world? It is people who are already looking for Krishna and are familiar with the culture. It'll be very easy for them to accept it. And it is people who are part of the Western world, but are rather distanced from, or want to distance themselves from the Western world. What that means is we inherently are aligning ourselves with the fringes of society. And while everyone is welcome to the movement, and there's nothing wrong with such people coming to the movement, it does limit us. Unless we do something to change this, it limits us in terms of who we can reach out to. Some of the implications of this are interesting. The first is that the average Australian person who walks into the temple feels completely alienated. Not because we are horrible people to hang out with. That is 100% not true. We have so many people, Bhakta Ed here, right? He knows so many people at the temple more than me. He loves it here. It's not that we are horrible people. It's that there's no relatability. The things that we consider to be everyday life is not what other people consider to be everyday life. Our opinions, our values, our views are different. The second is that our kids are leaving the movement at shocking rates. In 2019, our youth database had 70 people my age. Today, involved in outreach, we have 3 people. And today, involved in service in general, we have maybe 10 people from that group of 70. The Srila Prabhupada says that we say about Srila Prabhupada that he's built a house that the entire world can live in. But unfortunately, it's looking like we've built a house where 16% of the world can live in, which doesn't quite add up. So the result is that culturally, we're not a very relevant movement in the Western world. How do we become a more relevant movement in the Western world? So every problem is an opportunity, and Srila Prabhupada was such a pioneer. I read his letters, and I just think, wow, this is phenomenal. He was so relevant. He was so aware of what was going on in society. Unfortunately, what happens when many of us, and this is so true for me, when I come to this movement, I like to be in this cocoon. The rest of the world is evil. I am now finally on the right path. I don't want to associate with them. I want to be here. But it is only by associating with the world that we will learn how to connect with them, right? And Srila Prabhupada was so good, right? If you read his Ishopanishad purports, they are articles that were written in order to directly connect to the community and bring them to Krishna consciousness. So, compassion means empathy. A lot of the youth tell me that they're just unable to connect to the previous generation because the goals are different. For many of us, we are immigrants here. We are trying to find our place. But for our kids, they are people who are trying to live as other people in Australia do. And if we are able to use our empathy to connect with our kids, that'll give us an avenue to understand how we can connect with the rest of the world. The second is relevance. It is our duty, if we're going to be outreaching, to be aware of what the Australian society thinks. What are the different movements? Recently, one of my friends went to a Buddhist temple down south, and he was telling me that a lot of the people who are running the temple there, they're not ethnically, local, you would say, but they are so aware. 1974 Discrimination Act, the White Australia policy was abolished. How many people in our temples know that, right? So I'm not here to point blame. I'm saying it's so important for us to be aware so that when we do interface with the outer community, the intelligent people, they'll take us seriously. Finally, strategically. As I mentioned already, that we are very good at taking people who are looking for Krishna and bringing them in. But what about other kinds of people? What about people who are favorable but not looking for Krishna? Should our outcome always be that a devotee becomes 16 rounds initiated? Or is someone becoming favorable a good outcome also? What about people who are not devotees at all and they're not looking for Krishna? What's a good outcome there? Interestingly, if we do not target these two other kinds of communities, our community will not get much bigger than what it is right now, only focusing on people looking for Krishna. Because the push for the majority of people to come over and take us seriously is not there. So I think Srila Prabhupada was the most dynamic acharya. He has given us so much to be able to take his teachings and really create the revolution in the hearts of a misguided civilization. The opportunity is there for us to take it. So on this Disappearance Day, I pray to Srila Prabhupada that by your mercy, please give me the strength and the intelligence and the steadiness in this path so that I can help make a difference in a meaningful way to your mission. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you, Mrigan Prabhu, for the offering. I now request Galbu Prabhu to please come forward and share his offering. And again, a kind reminder, if you can keep your offering to 2 minutes, then it would help everyone finish their offering.
Hare Krishna everyone. I'm just new to Krishna consciousness, so if anything wrong, I would like to say sorry in advance for my apologies. So this is just based on my material life experience. I wouldn't go much into anything else. So dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for your causeless mercy and blessings, because of which I'm just beginning to realize the real purpose of human life. I was into bad addiction for 14 years and tried many different ways to overcome it, but nothing worked for long for me. After coming into Krishna consciousness, not only my addiction is gone, but I have been blessed with so many devotees associations which I have never imagined. I always used to feel guilty about my condition, and I still feel sometimes. It's because of your compassion and your devotees' compassion that I'm fortunate here today. Thank you for your causeless mercy. Hare Krishna, trying to be servant of your servant. Galbu, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your offering. Can I now request Alisha Mataji to please share her offering, followed by Prajwal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Before starting, I just want to take blessings from all of the devotees present here. Thank you for this very beautiful opportunity. I want to offer my most humble obeisances to you, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. I'm a bit nervous. Firstly, I would like to thank you for all of the teachings and all of your words which carries the fragrance of Krishna's mercy. Through those words, now I'm even more closer to Radha Gopinath. Due to my forgetfulness, I often feel like I'm alone and lost in all of this. Then all of a sudden, you keep on reminding me every time that I'm never alone and we're all here to help each other out and go back home, back to Godhead. It is all because of you that now I have a purpose in my life and meaning onto this life, that to serve and love Radha Gopinath eternally. I'm eternally indebted, and even saying thank you will be not enough to show my gratitude towards you, but the only way to please is following your instructions and your guidance. Now it is all your mercy that we are able to chant the holy name of the Lord, and you always keep on reminding us that there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Although I was and I'm still full of anarthas, and you are still there for me with all of your open arms, I really don't have any words to express my gratitude towards you. Please let me never forget your words, and please let me be at your service of your lotus feet. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Can I now request Prajwal Prabhu to please come forward, share his offering, followed by Akar Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna for everyone, every devotee is here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravadi Pracharini Nirvishesha Nyavadi Pasyata Desatarini. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. The only cause to stand here is your divine grace. Most of the time, I remember that where I was, how I was making clear, wonderful destination towards hell and other vices, lower than human form of life. Prabhupada, it's just your mercy to this most fallen soul, me, to be able to stand in front of you and share our feelings and gratitude towards our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. I am very much grateful for our Shiksha Guru Ghanashyam Govinda Prabhu for giving this opportunity which will last eternally, which is eternal existing opportunities. Again, only we are not capable for anything, Prabhupada. May we get more grace and become more confidence to preach to the outer world. Prabhupada, you are happy because the movement is spreading, but in the same time you are sad because the millions and billions of people are still looking for their original self, and which is the relationship between our original relation, that is like we are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and looking for their original self, and they are in a sad, and there is a voidism now because of unrealized self. Again, Prabhupada, we are not able for anything without your grace. Prabhupada, we will stand up with full confidence because you are always with us as our supporter, as our guider, and as our everything, and more as our spiritual master. Finally, may we be able to preach to the outer world and make them understand about this Krishna conscious movement and fulfill the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't have any capacity, Prabhu. You have to hold our hand and we will follow you. I love you, Prabhupada, your eternal servant. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that offering. We'll now have a quick 5-minute kirtan so that we can offer bhoga to Prabhupada, and when Prabhupada is honoring the bhoga, we can continue with the offerings.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste
सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषः शून्यवादी पश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki! Okay, to continue with the offerings, can I now request Akar Prabhu to please come and share his offering, followed by Preeti Mataji.
Dear Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, as long as I can remember, I've been bewildered yet stable, confident, meek but confident, distressed and yet hopeful. With your entrance, my heart has ever felt profound. Your words have been the food for my conscience. Your devotion has been my inspiration. Your fingers have been the pair that I hold on to in these rivers and rivers of misery. Your fingers and his hands. The young and ever effulgent glare of your seemingly old and age-wrinkled eyes have been my constant illumination. As you so very much remind me, I'm a Mudha. I remember only your words of enlightenment. In every slip, as a donkey only acknowledges the master's chastisement when going in the wrong path, your special voice makes me look at this world as it is. Your simplicity helps me progress further, and your devotion makes me cry. Your mercy is so gladdening. I would have been so much, much worse the way I am with your grace, still more worse. But with your entrance, just your entrance has moved me to the point where I've halted. My every action has been in naught. My every inaction has been transformed to something transcendental. As imperfect my words are, Prabhupada, your simple words are so and so much perfect. For each word coming from your lips has been dipped into the nectar of his lotus feet. Every action from you has been a desire to go back to him. You have stepped on my eons old rusted soul, and with your step my dry yearning desert has turned into fully flowered yellow, pink, blue and white flowered gardens filled with the sounds of the eternal. I pray to you to remember, for I am a forgetful donkey. I pray to you, for my eyes only see suffering and pain. I pray because when I close my eyes, your being flashes before this darkness of pain and suffering, and only perfection and bliss remains. For whatever you've done for us, we are very grateful and thank you. From my side personally, I hope Krishna again never sends you to this material plane. I pray that Krishna keeps you close as he has kept me and all of us. Even after all these years, I am a Mudha, so I may never reach to him by myself without clinging on to your dhoti. There isn't a hope for me to reunite with the eternal love of my eternity. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Can I please request Preeti Mataji to come forward with her offering, followed by Anush Prabhu and then Dipesh Prabhu.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my... Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, the pure devotee of Lord Krishna. On this special day, we remember you, our dearest spiritual grandfather, with so much love and gratitude and remembrance. True, though you are not physically here, your presence shines through every temple, every kirtan, and every devotee's heart. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, your journey was not ordinary, it was divinely heroic. At the age of 69, when most people rest, you crossed the ocean alone with nothing but a trunk of books, 40 rupees, and full faith in Krishna. When you suffer heart attacks on the Jolduta ship, you did not pray for safety. You pray, my dear Lord Krishna, make me dance as you wish. That prayer shows your full surrender and devotion to the Lord Krishna. When you arrived in New York, you had no followers, no money, and no place to stay, but you had unbreakable faith. You sat under a tree in Tompkins Square Park, chanting the holy name, and by your purity, hearts began to change. You turned hippies into happies, and your love transformed the whole world. Your heart is full of humility and compassion. I hear one pastime of Prabhupada recently where a devotee found Prabhupada was washing dishes in the kitchen and the devotee said, Prabhupada, please let me do it, let me wash the dishes. And Prabhupada smiled and said, I'm also your servant. And that was your heart, full of humility even as the founder of a global movement. And finally, the pastime that touched my heart the most, one devotee crying once said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm not sure if I will ever be qualified to go back to Krishna. Prabhupada looked at him with such compassion and said, don't worry, just hold on to my dhoti. I will take you back to Krishna through my back door. Srila Prabhupada, how merciful you are. You did not come to judge us. You came to save us. You came to remind us that Krishna love is real. The spiritual life can be full of joy, laughter, and compassion. Even though you are not physically here, but we can feel you are living eternally in your books, your teachings, and your devotees. You are always here guiding us, protecting us, and loving us. On this day, we offer our heart to you. Please bless us to serve your mission forward, to chant, to preach, and to bring more soul back to Krishna lotus feet sincerely. And please, please, please bless us to stay humble and to always hold tightly to your dhoti so that one day, by your mercy, we may also return home to Krishna. So thank you, dear Srila Prabhupada, for giving us everything, for giving us beautiful family, and for giving us a reason to live and a love. All grace to you, Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki. Can I now request Anush Prabhu to share his offering, followed by Dipesh Prabhu and Anshu Mataji post that.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Prabhupada, I offer my humble obeisances to you, to the entire ISKCON society, to all the Vaishnavas, and to every soul who has ever chanted Krishna's holy name even once. I realize that this journey has been long, an endless cycle of birth and death, yet by your mercy, I have reached this point where I can offer a few words to you. The feeling is beyond words. I was wandering on a dark road, restlessly searching for something to fill the emptiness within. I looked everywhere in the material corners but found nothing. Then by your mercy and the compassion of your devotees, I came across your sacred teachings. My hands were stained with sin. I was afraid even to touch your feet, fearing I would pollute them. But you are so merciful. You sent your devotees my way, and they not only shook my hands, but welcomed me with open arms. It is only by your mercy that this tongue, which has committed so many offenses through countless lives, can now chant the holy name. It is only by your mercy that I am blessed with association of realized souls who are always eager to guide me back home, back to Godhead. O Prabhupada, being conditioned by material nature, I still struggle to follow your teachings properly. Without your mercy, I cannot walk straight on this path. Please forgive me for the mistakes and offenses I make at every step. Scold me, correct me, put me through whatever I must endure to purify myself, but please never let go of my hands in this vast ocean of nescience. for without you I would be lost. Please accept me as your eternal student and teach me how to serve Sri Sri Radha Krishna and all their devotees. Prabhupada, thank you for building temples all over the world, for bringing Radha and Krishna to us through their Archa Vigraha forms, and for giving us endless opportunities for service and association wherever we go. Even on the day of your disappearance, I have little to offer but my gratitude and my sincere desire to serve Krishna. May I perceive Radha and Krishna in every corner of existence. May I study all your transcendental books and follow your instructions faithfully. May all my thoughts revolve around glorifying the Gurus, the devotees, and the Supreme Bharatif, Sri Krishna. Gurudev, I know I am not even qualified to utter your name properly, burdened as I am with impurities, but I beg you to bless me with such devotion that one day I may offer back in some small way a portion of the love you have given me. That alone would be my true reciprocation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Can I now request Dipesh Prabhu, followed by Anshu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dearest Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to you, the messenger of Lord Gauranga, who crossed the ocean to bring the holy name to our hearts. Yadi Prabhupada na hoito, tabe ki hoita, yajivana bahita kishe. If you had not come, Srila Prabhupada, how would this life have gone? Where would I have found shelter, hope, or love for Krishna? You gave us meaning, light, and the path home. Your words are my life, your mission my purpose. Though you have disappeared from this material world, you live forever in every heart that chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and serves your desire. Please bless me always to serve your lotus feet with humility, devotion, and gratitude. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Can I please request Anshu Mataji to share her offering, followed by your Prabhu and Salin Prabhu.
Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Shashwati Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasidhaya Disatari. First of all, I offer my humble obeisances to all the senior devotees and devotees assembled today. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. So, I came to Australia 3 years ago. I had a lot of thoughts in my mind when I came. I came with the thoughts of earning lots of money in Sydney. And it turned out that I found a jewel in search of money, that I never thought that my life purpose would be serving Srila Prabhupada or serving Radha Gopinath. I just came with one purpose, which was to earn money. And what I got is, I got more than money, a big jewel, and the purpose of my life. Please accept my humble obeisances, my dear Srila Prabhupada. How would I thank you for all the sacrifice you have made for us in this darkest age of Kali Yuga? Sometimes I feel like giving up my chanting, reading books, doing services. But can I really give up? How can I? Whenever I see you, whenever I hear all the struggle that you've been through, all the sacrifice you have made for us without knowing us, those sleepless nights, your heart attack, you being alone in Jaladut, how can I forget all these difficulties you have gone through just to give Krishna to everyone? How merciful you are, our Srila Prabhupada. No matter what, the only thing I pray to Radha Gopinath is, may I always continue reading your books forever in my life. Whenever I read your books, I remember that you have written this book in midnight without sleeping, thinking this breaks my heart, that being in 70s or 80s or 90s till 100, you didn't even thought of sleeping is necessary. Only thing you did is wrote a book for us. Once when reporter asks you, what happens to this moment when you die? And you replied, I shall never die, I shall always remain in my books. And that line is very touching. Like we always say that we never got association of Prabhupada, but he says that he is always in his books. And by reading his books, we can really feel his presence. I found myself crying so many times, not reading the translation, but reading the purport. Please give me your blessing that no matter what, may I forever read your books and never leave your books, Prabhupada. Without you, I'd never know who Krishna is and who Sri Radha Gopinath is. Thank you, Prabhupada. This life is for you. I surrender my life unto your lotus feet. Amito Kangal, Krishna, Krishna Bali, Dai Tava Pache Pache. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I'm simply your servant, running behind you, shouting Krishna, Krishna, your servant. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Can I now request your Prabhu to give his offering, followed by Silent Prabhu, and then Apeksha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I guess I'd like to first pray to Sri Radha and Gopinatha so that anything I say can hopefully enhance your bhakti and I guess, reach your heart and help transformation. I'd really like to thank Prabhupada for what he did. I feel like living in the Western world, you can kind of see sense gratification is a big part of it. And I feel like just the way he articulates what the goal of human life is I don't know, it's such a way what's so compelling that you can't deny it. I think it makes you stop and immediately want to change your habits. So I guess I'd like to just thank him for, at such an old age, going to an unknown country with just a pen and the will to please his spiritual master and showing a path to how we could kind of do the same thing. I guess big wish on this day is that it inspires everyone to keep to his words, to distribute more books, to help people that are suffering from association with Maya. Particularly the Srimad Bhagavatam. I think there's just so many things like politics, how you should be associating with different people in your life, even to just stories, what can really help untangle the knots in people's minds. So I hope everyone can really just meditate on that and distribute more books. So Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Can I now request Silent Prabhu to come forward with his offering?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances unto your divine lotus feet. All glories to you. On this auspicious day of your disappearance, I feel both separation and gratitude. Though you are not physically present here, you are still guiding us through your books, your instructions, and your disciples who carry your mercy. By your boundless compassion, you cross the ocean to deliver the holy name and reveal the eternal teachings of Lord Chaitanya to the whole world. Because of you, I have some chance to hear about Krishna, to chant his holy names, and to begin the path of devotional service. Whatever little faith I have is only by your mercy. Your example of humility, determination, and complete dependence on Krishna is beyond my comprehension. Yet it inspired me to try in my own small way to serve. I know I fall short again and again, but you are so merciful that you never abandon me. Prabhupada, I know I'm very small and weak, but I try to remember your sacrifice, and I feel like I got some courage, and I try to stand up again and walk on the path of devotion. as you have showed, like one soul can empower, and change the destiny of one pure soul can empower and change the destiny of a soul. Once I was hearing about about your final days of your life, and one Prabhu was mentioning that your service attitude towards your spiritual master and Krishna, even when facing so many difficulties, your mood was always to expand the mission of Krishna consciousness. And we can see how you have set example of whatever situation you were. Our body is not important. Running after our comfort and sense gratification is not important. But what is important is that this mission of Krishna consciousness should go on. Your whole life is a proof of the mood of complete surrender to Krishna's desire. And as we know, Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasado, by the mercy of spiritual master, one received the benediction of Krishna. So today I seek your blessing that one day I could learn to put aside my comfort zone and be useful for any little help to expand your glorious mission. And I want to pray for only one thing, that please keep me engaged in your service. Please give me strength to sincerely chant and to follow your instruction and assist in your mission. May I always remember that my only shelter is at your lotus feet. And lastly, I would like to confirm to you that, Srila Prabhupada, I am forever indebted to you. Please accept this offering from your insignificant servant.
Thank you, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki. We'll have a quick 5 minutes kirtan while the Mahaprasadam is being carried out.
Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki. Can I now request Pravesh Prabhu to share his offering, followed by Prasoon Prabhu, and then Apeksha Mataji. Yeah, please, can I request again to please keep your offering under 2 minutes?
To all the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. Today, on this auspicious occasion of Disappearance Day of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, I would like to offer this humble prayer unto His lotus feet. All glories to our Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Every time I think of Srila Prabhupada, a quote from a movie I once watched comes to mind. A very small man can cast a very large shadow. Though Srila Prabhupada was not an ordinary man, he was a pure devotee of the Lord. This quote reminds me of how one soul completely surrendered to Krishna can illuminate and transform the entire world. The things he has achieved in his lifetime have never been equaled, and I doubt anyone could ever do so again. Whenever I listen to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada's lectures, I experience the timeless love and the wisdom of galaxies of saints flooding from him. He has delivered a message that had been preserved through the ages by an unbroken line of masters who teaches us how to realize our intimate relationship with the all-attractive God, Lord Sri Krishna. We all know his story, how at the frail age of 70, he journeyed alone to America on a cargo ship with practically no money, not knowing a soul in that foreign land, putting all his faith and surrendering fully to the Lord, acting as an instrument to Lord's compassion. Meanwhile, suffering 2 heart attacks on the way and enduring immense hardship, just to bring this Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the West, to us. He never gave up because his heart was full of compassion for the fallen souls of this world. He was an aged man who was seriously ill, penniless, and alone in a foreign land, begging God for only one blessing, to be used as an instrument of God's mercy. He single-handedly came and conquered the land of Mayavadis and impersonalists with the holy name of the Lord. We are all gathered here today only because of him. I am standing among such great Vaishnavas and receiving the mercy of Sri Sri Radha Gopinath and their devotees, all because of him. I am fortunate to know my real identity as the eternal servant of the Lord and his devotees, all because of him. Lately, I've been listening repeatedly to this bhajan written by Jayapataka Maharaj, Yadi Prabhupada na hoito. And I too often wonder how my life would have been if Srila Prabhupada had not done what he did. Now I cannot imagine my life without his mercy. Truly, no amount of words, reverence, prayers, offerings, love or service can ever repay a fraction of what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Recently, I have also been reading books written by his disciples about him, and the more I read, the more I am amazed by his divine personality. He was fearless and uncompromising when preaching Lord Chaitanya's message, yet he was also incredibly loving, caring, and compassionate. He chastised his disciples, wanted to uplift them, and showered mercy by teaching them the right way and the right mood to serve. He translated numerous books for us, trained thousands of disciples, traveled tirelessly across the globe, empowered his disciples to establish temples, distributed the love of Sri Sri Radha Krishna to the entire world. He protected ISKCON and his devotees from all dangers, both internal and external. He even cooked and taught his disciples to cook delicious prasadam to attract souls to the mercy of the Lord. He taught us how to serve, how to worship, and how to live a Krishna conscious life. He was perfect in every way. Sometimes I wish I had been born during the time when Srila Prabhupada was physically present, so I could receive his personal association, or I could see him or even serve him once. But then I remember the wise words of Devamrit Maharaj, who once told me when I was complaining about living far away from temple and not getting association. He told me, read Prabhupada's books, you will get his association, and that is the best association. Srila Prabhupada himself said, I will live forever through my books and instructions. And it is indeed true. He continues to guide and instruct us through his divine words. The more I read about him, the more I am astonished by how one person could have meaningful interactions with thousands of disciples and touch each of their hearts so deeply. Every one of his disciples has a unique story of how Srila Prabhupada personally impacted their life. His ability to relate to people of all backgrounds with both compassion and firmness was beyond human comprehension. Though I am completely unqualified to speak of him, I can only say that Srila Prabhupada was a pure devotee who had no need to come to the West and endure such hardship. From his childhood, he was absorbed in the service of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Yet, out of his boundless compassion, he sacrificed everything for the deliverance of the fallen souls like myself. No matter how much we glorify him, it will never be enough. He truly deserves all the glories in the world, for he has saved millions of lives and brought them to the lotus feet of the Lord. I was reading Dancing White Elephants book by Giriraj Swami, and there his disciples described how Srila Prabhupada displayed superhuman energy and strength in his preaching. His enthusiasm often surpassed that of his young disciple. On another book entitled Prabhupada Smaranamrita by Subhag Swami, there is a pastime of Srila Prabhupada where when he visited the ISKCON temple in London and saw his disciples going for Harinam Sankirtan, and they did not have proper winter clothes to protect them from the cruel winter of London, he said this with eyes full of tears. I am so grateful for these nice boys and girls who have been sent by Krishna, as they have been working so hard to fulfill my Guru Maharaj's mission. Yet, I can't even give them proper clothes to protect them from this cold winter. And then he goes on praying, please, Krishna, protect these boys and girls. I leave them on your mercy. That's how much of love and compassion he had for his disciples. Out of pure compassion, Srila Prabhupada crossed oceans, endured hardships, and established a spiritual home for us all. He spent numerous sleepless nights translating books, and it's only because of him we are able to relish the great transcendental Vedic literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It's only due to his mercy he has made Krishna consciousness accessible everywhere to everyone throughout the world. We should have total faith that Srila Prabhupada has given us and is giving us everything. There is no shortcomings. There is no lack of highest realization of Prema Bhakti in Srila Prabhupada's teachings, in Srila Prabhupada's books. I could speak about him endlessly and still never do justice to his greatness. So today I simply want to thank him from the core of my heart and offer my love and devotion unto his lotus feet. I pray to follow the path he has shown, to serve his disciples and grand disciples, and to dedicate myself to the Sankirtan mission of Sri Guru and Gauranga. I truly believe we must honor Srila Prabhupada by sincerely following his instructions, for in doing so, we are the ones who will truly be benefited. With whatever love and devotion my insignificant heart can hold, I offer myself, heart and soul, to the service of our eternal spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Please, Srila Prabhupada, accept my humble obeisances and bless me with the right consciousness and mood to always desire service to the Lord and His devotees. Srila Prabhupada, I beg of you, please bless this useless, insignificant soul so that I can always be engaged in devotional service and would not want to engage in anything else. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I know there is still 3-4 more devotees to read out their offerings. What we'll do now is we'll do Pushpanjali and Guru Puja. And we request all of you to please remain after Guru Puja so the other 4 devotees can finish their offerings. Now may we request everyone to please stand up. We are going to pass the flowers around. and we are going to do Pushpanjali.
Take some flour. You'll have to, please come more forward. Yeah. And move that harmonium.
Can you move the harmonium, please?
Just going to do a shortened version. Okay?
Yes,
Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschata Eshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada ki. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschata Isatarine Esha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada ki. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali Srila Prabhupada ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Samsara dava naranidha loka pranaya karunya gana ganatvam Samsara dava naranidha loka Tarayana karunya gana ganatvam प्राप्त सकल्यान गुणानवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्द वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्द महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता वदित्रमादन मनसुर सेना महाप्रभु कीर्तन नित्य गीता पवित्रमात्रं मनसुर सेना रोमांचकंपा सुतरंग भाजो वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंदम वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंदम वंदे गुरो श्री चरणारविंदम श्री विग्रहारा धन नित्य नाना श्रृंगार तन्मन निर्मार्जनादो युक्तस्य भक्ता तनुयुञ्जपोपि वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विदासी भगवत प्रसादा सौदान्नप्तिप्तान् हरिभक्त संघा चतुर्विदासी भगवत प्रसादो स्वादान तृप्तान् हरिभक्त संघा कर्तव्यतृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्री चरणारविन्दम् श्री राधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नाना श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्य लीला गुणरूप नाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीकरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुंजयोनो रतिकेलिसे थै यायालिभियु तिरभिक्षणीया तत्र दक्षा अतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे युक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव षड्भिः साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे युक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव षड्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गतिः कुतोऽपि यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत् प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गतिः कुतोऽपि गायन्तु वन्तस्य यस्य सितन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् चरणारविन्दं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशताहरिणे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
प्रभुपाद व्यास तिरुभाव महोत्सव की, शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिविकाचार्य ष्ठी हिज डिवाइन गेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिविकाचार्य भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तविंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिर गोवर्धन की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे। All Guru assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All Guru assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All Guru assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. May I request everyone to please be seated. We still have 3 more devotees to complete their offerings. Apeksha, Lakshmi, and then Prashun. 3 of you. Okay, please be ready. And once we finish their offerings, we can then line up in the restaurant area, pick up the prasad. It's raining outside, but we'll keep the temple room ready. Get your plates and come back inside. By the time Radha Gopinath, the curtain will be closed and you can have the prasad inside. Hare Krishna. Apeksha.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Srila Prabhupada, thank you for everything. I remember my first ever Rath Yatra where I first saw you on cart with Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani. When I saw you, I believed you were there fully present. But when I realized it was a statue, then I never felt you fully being present in this form. I remember trying to see you or feel your presence through my eyes, but I couldn't, and how could I? Srila Prabhupada, I am realizing I could not see you through my eyes, but I could only see you through my ears. So I really beg and pray that one day I will be attached to your books, attached to your devotees, and so attached to everything related to you, and engage my life in your service. Yamuna Mataji prayed, Nitya Amar Si Guru, E Kripa Magi Ami, Yugala Charana Prema Prakasite Smarana Kori. O my eternal spiritual master, I beg this mercy. May I be in constant remembrance of the dawning of love for the divine couple's lotus feet. This shows your mercy. Krishna, who is tied by Mother Yasoda's love in Vrindavan, it feels like you untied him and brought him to all parts of the world to again be tied by the love of devotees. May we all be in constant remembrance of the gift that you gave us, and through your blessings share it to others. You said, now I'm leaving you in the hands of the lectures. I cannot take the responsibility. You please guide these boys and girls and give them the intelligence to worship you nicely. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us Sri Radha Gopinath. Today we are called Gopinath's youth and would forever like to be called. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Lakshmi Tamang.
Hare Krishna everyone. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pashyata Desa Tarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Visati Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. On this special day, an auspicious day, I offer my humble obeisances to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. May his teachings continue to guide us on the paths of devotions and self-realization. Srila Prabhupada, I want to say that you are truly the miracle of this whole world. You are like my own grandfather to me, because who always wants the best for his grandchildren. Because your lectures are so great. As a result, I am making some progress in Krishna consciousness movement. I feel so fortunate because I'm like coming in this Krishna conscious movement, and I feel a little bit better. And also because associating with other devotees, you know, like I feel better also that, okay, I can do also, you know, and because all of your mercy and love. And I was a type of person who was always looking for God and always thinking, is there any God exist? If he's God, maybe he doesn't have personal features, or he's just, you know, impersonal type. You know, I used to doubt in my mind all the time. And even after I came in Australia, I always used to think, and because of your after I hear your lecture, that I understand and I can believe that Krishna is a God who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to know Him, I must follow the disciplic succession systems. And first, for that, I have to be associated with devotees first, and then slowly, gradually, spiritual masters, and then by the grace of spiritual masters and Krishna's mercy, then I will be able to go to Goloka, Vrindavan, spiritual planet. Today, I pray that I may become a sincere servant of the Supreme Lord and follow your instruction. I am forever grateful to Srila Prabhupada for bringing Krishna consciousness to the West, and may his books and teachings continue to inspire and uplift all the souls. And thank you very much. And thank you.
Prashun.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनचालके चक्षुरुन्मीलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने. On this very sacred day, I offer my deepest gratitude and reflection. You are not just a saint who spoke philosophy. You are a teacher who showed us how to live. Your example was practical, disciplined, and full of purpose. You showed that love for Krishna is not shown only through words or emotion, but through
Sankirtan devotee. He has been always distributing books. He has done book distribution where? In the coldest regions of the world. Even if nobody is there, he would single-handedly go, take the books, carry. If he have to travel in trains, if he have to go by himself in bus, he would do it. He doesn't need anybody. So all this example show is what? It's undesirable, so we just have to stop ourselves, or what should we be doing? They show us that yes, undesirable situation, worse situations, calamities have come to them, but still they will try and face it. They will overcome it, but they will not flee from the battle. Right? So they keep showing us how we should also